It all began with a feeling, a quiet ache in my soul. I was living a life that looked perfect, but inside I felt lost. I needed a change, something that would shake me to my core. So I made a wild decision to leave everything behind and travel the world, alone. This wasn't a vacation, it was a quest to find myself. My first stop was Italy. I remember standing in the airport, heart pounding, a mix of terror and excitement. The world felt huge and I felt so small, but I took a deep breath and walked through the gate. That first step onto the plane was the hardest. I didn't have a plan, just hoped that I'd find the pieces of myself I'd lost. As the plane took off, I watched my old life shrink below me. I felt relief. I was finally free from expectations and the shoulds. For the first time, my life was a blank page. I could write any story I wanted. I had no idea what lay ahead, but I knew I couldn't go back. The journey had begun, and I had to see it through. Looking back, I see that moment as the true beginning of my real life. It wasn't about running away from problems. It was about running toward myself. I gave myself permission to be messy and uncertain. I trusted that the universe had a plan, even if I couldn't see it yet. That single decision changed the entire trajectory of my existence. Sometimes, the most important journey is the one that leads you back to who you were always meant to be. The first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most important. I didn't know it then, but I was about to discover a world and a self I'd never known. And so, my adventure began. I landed in Rome with a heart full of questions and a hunger for something more. The city was a beautiful, chaotic symphony, scooters buzzing, the air thick with espresso and history. I found a tiny apartment near a bustling piazza and felt incredibly alone. Italians lived with such passion, talking with their hands, savoring every moment. Slowly, I learned their rhythm, saying buongiorno, ordering coffee, wandering ancient streets. I touched the cold stones of the Colosseum and felt the weight of centuries. In Rome, I learned the art of pleasure, the sweetness of doing nothing. I found joy in a perfect cappuccino, a ripe peach, the sun on my skin. My days filled with simple beauty, gelato by the Trevi fountain, watching water dance. The constant anxiety faded, replaced by a quiet peace. Rome taught me life isn't a race, it's a feast to be savored. The city's ancient stones whispered, "Be present, be alive." Rome was not just a place, it was a state of mind. I was no longer lost, I was found. After Italy, I flew to India, straight into a world of color, sound, and chaos. The air was thick with spices and incense, the streets alive with noise and energy. At first, the chaos overwhelmed me. I felt small, insignificant, and wanted to run. I had come seeking spirituality, staying at an ashram for meditation and yoga. My mind was anything but quiet, a crowded marketplace of thoughts. I struggled to find stillness, feeling like a failure. One day, an elderly woman from the ashram sat beside me by the river. She pointed to the water. "The river is always moving, but the riverbed is still." Her words struck me. I realized I didn't need to stop my thoughts, just find the stillness beneath them. I stopped fighting my mind and simply watched my thoughts float by. In that acceptance, I found a deep, hidden peace. It was always there, beneath the noise. India didn't give me answers. It taught me to sit with the questions. I learned to find my center in the midst of life's storm. The chaos became my teacher, showing me how to be still within. I discovered that peace isn't about silence outside, but calm inside. India changed my practice and my life. I learned to let go, to watch, to be. The river kept moving, but I found my stillness. In the heart of chaos, I found myself. India taught me to embrace uncertainty and trust the journey. The lesson was simple: be the riverbed, not the river. And in that stillness, I found freedom. My final stop was Bali, an island of green rice paddies and gentle smiles. After India's intensity, Bali felt like a soft exhale. I found a small house in a rice field with days free of structure. I woke with the sun, rode my bike through villages, and watched farmers tend their fields. Time seemed to stretch and bend. In Bali, I learned about balance, between good and evil, light and dark, doing and being. Spirituality was woven into daily life, a gentle reminder of the sacred in everything. I met Ketut, a wise medicine man with a mischievous smile. He taught me to meditate by smiling, with my face, my mind, even my liver. At first it seemed silly, but it worked. A simple smile changed my energy. Ketut showed me that joy is a choice, one I could make every day. My time in Bali was healing. I learned to love myself, to find balance, to let go of self-criticism. I discovered happiness wasn't something to chase. It was already inside me. I just needed to get quiet enough to hear its song. Bali taught me to dance to my own rhythm. The island's gentle pace became my own. I learned to surrender, to trust, to smile from the inside out. Bali was a place of healing and joy. I left with a lighter heart and a deeper sense of peace. The art of doing nothing became the art of being fully alive. In Bali, I found the balance I'd been searching for, and I carried that balance home with me. The island's lessons would stay with me forever. This journey wasn't always easy. There were moments of loneliness, fear, and vulnerability. I got lost in strange cities, sick from unfamiliar food, and had my wallet stolen. In those moments, I wanted to give up, but I didn't. Each challenge became a lesson. Getting lost taught me to trust my intuition and discover hidden gems. Sickness taught me to accept kindness from strangers. Losing my wallet forced me to rely on the goodness of others. These hardships stripped away my pride and self-reliance. In vulnerability, I found strength through connection. Loneliness taught me the value of my own company. Fear revealed my courage. Helplessness showed me the grace of accepting help. The difficult moments were the heart of my transformation. They forged a new, stronger me. Before I left, my world was defined by familiar words. In Italy, language was music, passionate, expressive, freeing. Speaking Italian made me more playful, more alive. In India, I learned to communicate without words, a smile, a nod, a gesture. I listened with my whole being, understanding kindness and devotion beyond language. In Bali, the language was gentle, but the most important was the language of my own body. Through yoga and meditation, I learned to listen to my body's whispers. My journey gave me a new vocabulary: Italian gestures, Indian silence, Balinese smiles. It was a language of sensation and intuition, deeper than words. I realized my native tongue was just one way to interpret reality. By learning to communicate in new ways, I expanded my world. I was no longer limited by words. I was learning the universal language of the heart. My soul found new ways to speak. The world became richer, more nuanced. I was changed from the inside out. On this journey, I met people from every corner of the globe. Each person was a mirror, reflecting parts of myself I needed to see. In Italy, friends taught me the beauty of connection and community. In India, I learned faith and grace from those with little but deep devotion. In Bali, joy and presence were reflected back to me by light-hearted locals. These people showed me my strengths, my fears, my capacity for joy. They were not just characters in my story, they were co-authors. They helped me rewrite my narrative. They showed me who I was and who I could become. The greatest gifts of my journey were the people I met. They taught me love, belonging, and the power of human connection. My story became richer because of them. I was never truly alone. Coming home was strange. I was excited but nervous. My old life felt foreign, like clothes that no longer fit. I felt like a stranger in my own home. But I remembered the lessons: stillness from India, pleasure from Italy, balance from Bali. Home wasn't a place. It was a feeling inside me. I could carry peace and joy wherever I went. I built a new life, aligned with my passions and values. I made my home a sanctuary, nurtured true friendships, and let go of what no longer served me. I was no longer living the life I was supposed to live. I was living the life I was meant to live. Coming home was not the end, but the integration of everything I'd learned. I realized the journey had changed me forever. I found a new sense of belonging within myself. The adventure continued. Even at home, I was finally whole, and I was ready for whatever came next. Today, years later, my life is richer and deeper than I ever imagined. The journey transformed me, breaking me open and putting me back together. I learned the world is full of kindness, beauty, and wisdom. I found myself not by hiding, but by exploring the world. The urge to travel is now a joyful exploration, not a desperate search. Every trip, near or far, is a chance to learn and grow. The journey is not a destination. It's a way of being. I have compassion for the scared person I once was. I want to tell her everything will be okay and the journey is worth it. If you feel that ache in your soul, listen to it. Your journey may look different, but the destination doesn't matter. What matters is the courage to take the first step. The greatest adventure is the journey back to your true self. The world is waiting for you, and it's a journey worth taking.